Good morning. It's Thursday, Friday Eve, as I like to call it. And we have Melissa Radcliffe, who is the principal from the junior high. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Just because you and I were literally just talking about it right before we got switched over, let's talk about the zombie run that happened on Tuesday, right? It was on Halloween?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
So it was kind of like a jogathon type of thing, right?
Right.
Where kids had to get sponsors for money and laps and whatnot. And where did they run? Or on the trail? On the fitness trail?
So we actually had two runs that day put on by Jamie Dixon, our athletic director, on Bud's Community Fitness Trail that goes around the junior high. So in the morning, about 10 o'clock, we had all the East kids come over and they did their jogathon and raised their money, got prizes and things for doing numbers of laps. It was great. And then in the afternoon, we had a zombie run with our big kids. So most of the staff dressed up and all day, and then the kids got a head start. They had flags hanging off their belts on the sides.
Oh,
and then we gave them
I get it.
Yeah, we gave them a little bit of a head start, and then we took off after them, running around there. And so if they came back with flags after 2 laps, then they got prizes, and we had a raffle going for people who had, brought in at least $10 and all that. So it was great.
That sounds fun and also terrifying at the same time. Even though it's the teachers and it's people that you see every day, there's just still something about somebody running after you.
Right.
It's a little terrifying.
It was. Well, what was really terrifying is the number of sore and wounded adults we had, because we aren't used to literally chasing after them. And so, there were some sore shins and knees and
I'm sure
hips and things. So it's
for the rest of the week, people will be a little sore.
Yeah, we looked more zombie-esque yesterday than we did actually the day before. But
that's funny.
Yeah.
And you can see pictures of the teachers and staff that were dressed up. That's a really, I didn't realize I just thought it was everybody dressed up and then ran as zombies, but I didn't realize they were being chased.
Oh no, literally chasing the children. It was good. And I was impressed that, they didn't bolt out in front of cars because it was at the end of the day. And so it was like, stay on the trail because we didn't want anyone to get hit. So it was fun.
And the money, you guys raised a really large, I'm surprised, $10,000.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is. It was wonderful. So the plan that Jamie is expanding his empire to now go.
Because he was the one that started that trail, right?
Right.
And it's also the Splash and Dash run that is in
April.
Yep. That started to help fund the trail and the creation of the trail.
Correct. And so there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into that. And the trail is paved around the junior high now, and then have the different fitness stations. But for the Splash and Dash, and also for Mr. Brown, who's the PE teacher across at East, we want the kids to have a space to run on their property also, which also will connect with ours. That'll go around.
So it'll make it a little bit
behind.
bigger.
Yeah, it'll make it bigger. And again, for the actual Splash and Dash in April, it'll be nicer to go around. It was a little rough and muddy if it's has been real wet. So, so it was good. And the East kids raised like nearly $7,000. They were very excited about it. Yeah, it was great. And then
so then they get to choose now where the trail goes or expands to?
No, the whole plan was to have it go around East. Yeah, we were just again kind of expanding Bud's fitness trail, but
they get to choose.
They get to choose which principal and dean have to kiss a pig. So I'm really hoping that those fine young children, those East Panthers,
want
choose
to see
their own principal
Yes.
and dean, Mr. Richards and Ms. Rhodes, kiss a pig. So we're hopeful.
I'm sure there will be pictures, right? Somewhere.
Absolutely.
And when is this event taking place?
So this will be the half day before Thanksgiving. So I believe it's the 22nd, if my brain is working properly.
I think so. I think that's Wednesday.
And so we'll have an assembly right early in the morning.
How are we talking about Thanksgiving already?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So there'll be an assembly. A pig will be brought in.
Yes. So the pig actually has been raised by Jamie Dixon, and then has their Mr. Richards, JP Richards, is caretaking it now and is actually raising the pig, and then so they'll get him all cleaned up and bring him in, and
is it going to be an assembly with the 7th, 8th, and the 6th graders?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, no, all
of East.
All of East. And
so it
all
was
of the junior
all
high.
of East. How many? So kid wise, are they equal? Is that why they raise more money?
They are not equal, no. So they have grades 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
And so they have over 500 kids at East, and we have 7th and 8th only, and so we have about 350.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that should be a fun time.
Yes.
When do you find out which principal gets to kiss it? The day of?
The day of, yeah. So
like 5 minutes before?
Right. So I told JP
so you get
yesterday.
to sweat it out.
Yeah. Well, I told him no saying that if his kids pick me that then they get extra recess or anything like that.
Right.
There's no extortion here because you got to watch that guy.
That's funny. Well, and he knows how those junior high kids work because he used to be the principal over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He knows how to get them.
Yes.
Speaking of the junior high kids, do you want to talk about social media or do you want to talk about the Discovery program?
Let's talk about Discovery and then maybe end with the social media assembly that we're going to have. This year, as a staff, we looked at it last year, this program out of Colorado called the Discovery Program. Rachel Sipp, when she was the principal at Wilson River High School, they've been using this for a few years.
Is she still the principal?
She's not. She actually is now at a larger alternative school in Beaverton. So she got a really cool job over there.
So who's now the principal over there?
A gentleman by the name of Jesse Johnson.
Okay.
So, yeah, and he's doing a great job with his staff over there. So it's a program that actually helps teach kids the skills that they need to thrive, in
life?
school and then also, mostly in life. It has things to do, they call them the 6 Ps. So as we're having kids in school, we want them to participate, be prompt, have a positive mental attitude, produce something. They need to do the work. Polite, which is also a very important one, and then to be prepared. So in class, we're talking with kids about what those things look like. How does it look when you are being prepared? What does it look like when you're producing? And one of the ways that we talk about in the classroom, how it would be going is to ask about their attending skills. Are they following the speaker with their eyes? Do they have appropriate body language? Are they asking questions and follow up, discussion? Just things that we as adults sometimes take for granted that students understand and that they're going to use through junior high and high school and into their career. Because, prompt is important no matter what you're doing.
Right.
And having a positive attitude about what you're doing and being in the moment. Those are things that maybe kids aren't being intentionally taught. Right. And so we feel like
we hope that they're picking it up, but if they're not being taught it, you're not sure that they're picking it up.
Correct.
And their brain development at that age is not one where, like, as adults, we're a little bit more receptive and we can feel those outlying intentions that people have, like, okay, I'm teaching you something, and then, this also goes in with positive mental attitude, but kids don't pick that up.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, a lot of kids do. This is something that we put across the board so that all kids, we know that the kids have been taught the skill and that they can practice it and use it. It's just like if we're sitting in a meeting and someone's, spacing off or they're on their phone and not paying attention to what's going on, just like someone might say, hey, psst,
pay attention.
Watch what you're doing here. In a very thoughtful and adult manner. That's what we want to see in our classrooms. That sometimes we need rumble strips that as we're sitting there, maybe not attending very well or not producing, not doing that someone just comes along and says, hey, how are you doing right now? Oh, okay, thank you. Kind of get us back on track. Just like when you're driving on Highway 6 over to Portland, you're going over the hill. If you kind of drift off a little, they have those rumble strips on the side. They're just kind of a little reminder, like, hey, you're not going the direction you need to be going. Square it up a little. Yeah. And that's the spirit of this, that we want to teach kids the skills so that they can be successful as they move on. And it's also in the Discovery program, the main focus is actually about building community. So yes, the attending skills and the redirects and all of that have a small part in this, but the biggest component is the team building and having kids feel like they have a family to come to each morning. Kids vote with their feet. And if they don't feel comfortable and they don't feel like they're part of something and they don't feel like they have an adult who genuinely cares about them and knows them by name and knows what they're doing and how they're doing,
can check in with them,
they're not going to come. And that's what we need. We need to have them in the schoolhouse if we expect to teach them.
Right.
And so this really is about building a family, building community, making them feel safe within school, and that they do have an adult they can come to if they have a problem. So our schedule's set up on Mondays, which are our Monday late starts. They have a half an hour with their discovery group. So there's 14 discovery groups in our school.
Are they based by like their class, or how does that?
Well, yeah, there are 7th grade groups and then 8th grade groups. So it is their age level peers. And they have what we call circle up. That they come in, they say their name, they say kind of the number of where they're at. As far as 1 is like, this is the worst day ever in the whole wide world. And 10 is like, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than be right here doing this. And then Y. So kids can say, I've heard lots of, I'm at a 7. I didn't get as much sleep as I probably should have. I'm feeling kind of tired, but otherwise I feel real good. I'm ready for the day. And then there's a prompt that the teacher will throw out that, at first kind of icebreaker, getting to know you things.
Sure.
Like where in the world would you want to travel if you could travel anywhere in the world and why?
What's your favorite ice cream?
Right.
Type of things. Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of those surface level things that help kids share and get to know them. And then, as we move on, things that are a little deeper, talk about, one that I used with my staff was, who is the most influential person in your life who's not a family member?
Interesting.
Yeah. And so they're just things that make people think a little bit and be reflective and help them, again, create that community, because we want kids to be with us,
right,
and to move forward and create that safety and security that we know kids need. Because if they don't feel safe and they don't have their basic needs met, then there's no way they're going to learn.
Yeah.
It's just...
Right, because they're so preoccupied with all those other things.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I like the circle, like that is a very welcoming type of thing. And I'm sure doing that helps the kids get to know each other where they might not normally. Yeah, that's someone that sits 2 rows over and 1 seat behind me in class, but I don't know them. But sitting in that circle time and having the opportunity to talk about things like who is the most influential person in your life that's not a family member or whatever it might be. That's I went in high school and junior high, I had my circle of friends, but I didn't really go outside of that. So I think that really opens up to learning more about other people and what other people are going through in their life. That's kind of cool.
Right. It is. And I think you're exactly right that there's a sense of trust in getting to know other people. One of the best things about it is that if someone comes in and says something like, I'm at a 4 because we found out that my grandma has cancer and I don't, I'm not feeling well. I'm here because I know I need to be here, but, I'm really kind of having a rough time. Well, then other kids understand that and can hear that. And then as a teacher can maybe give a heads up to the counselor to say, hey, this student's struggling, with this. We just found this out. We want to make sure that we're aware of that so that we can be receptive to and responsive to their needs. So I just, it's been a great program and I've seen it work in other places.
So this is new this year for the junior high.
Correct.
Are there any other schools that are implementing this?
Yeah, the high school's implementing parts of it, especially focused on the freshman class.
Oh, sure, because that's a big adjustment.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my school's the one is after next week, all of my teachers will have been trained. So, and many of my educational assistants. So this was something that we as a staff committed to and said, we're going to take this time. So most of the staff voluntarily went this summer and spent 4 days at this training with this gentleman, Paul Larson from Colorado, who did this discovery program. And what's great about this is that it hasn't been me necessarily rolling it out and here are the lessons and this is the order we're going to do them in, and here, so on Tuesday you're going to do this and Wednesday. No, this is the teachers saying what their kids need and how fast it rolls out, and we're balancing the sort of academic piece of the 6 Ps and the this and the that.
Right.
We're teaching kids about problem solving, how to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Anger management is what we're in right now, of talking about, things in life are going to get you down or create challenges for you. How do adults go about
Right.
solving those problems and dealing with the anger? Because people might do something to tick you off. How do you manage that? How do you and your body manage that? And what are good ways to handle that, and what are some not great ways to handle that?
Yeah.
It's also about advocating for yourself. It's about how do you talk to adults in a way that you're communicating, you're being clear, you're trying to find win-win solutions all the way around, because kids don't practice that.
Right.
Many of them, as we see the prototypical teenager, they are plugged into their phone and they're snap face tubing all over the place. Like we don't even know what in the heck they're up to. But this gives them the skills to be able to interact and advocate for themselves in a way that we as adults feel is acceptable
Right.
to do it, which will help them get jobs.
Yeah, and is effective, because just telling somebody, if somebody asks you to do something, saying no, that could get you fired.
Correct.
And so having the ability to say, which is a skill, it is definitely a skill to say no without saying no.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. I have so many things to say about it, but we don't have enough time.
I know.
I just think that's really cool, because it is life skills. As adults, we don't realize how much kids watch us. And you were talking about, being on your phone in a meeting or being late or not prompt, because kids pick that up from family members or adults in their life that may have that. And so if they don't have anybody else to teach them a different way, that's all they know is that, oh, when we're eating dinner, we're on our phones, or when I'm at the doctor's office waiting in the waiting room, we're on our phone. Like, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I think that's cool.
Yeah. And different families have different ways of doing, which is fine. But, we kind of have to try and help them see what, again, in a workplace or in a classroom setting or on an athletic field, how do we do this? How do we advocate for ourselves in a respectful way? Because just telling a kid that he's being rude, they don't necessarily know why that is. So we kind of have to describe, well, when you roll your eyes and give a huffy breath and, slump your shoulders down, this is what I'm seeing, and that's the perception that I'm getting from you. That's what you're telling me.
Right.
So we're really trying to have kids, teach the kids this skill, ask them to use it and use their words. So you don't have to act up and, cause a ruckus. Just tell me what you need. I'm here to listen to you.
Right.
Tell me what you need.
Right.
And so far, it's been rolling out well. There's hiccups all the time, and kids.
Sure, you got to work through stuff.
You got to work through stuff, but I really am just so proud of our staff, and from the front office folks to the our custodian to everyone. Everyone is just really wrapping around this because it's what's really great for kids.
Well, and I would think too, as adults, it probably helps you. It helps specifically for teachers or people that are involved with the kids a lot, that it helps have a more effective relationship and a more effective learning experience for the kids when there's not, you're not getting sent to the principal because you're rolling your eyes. Right. You understand that when you roll your eyes, it's rude and you might get sent to the principal. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And this is why you're being rude, or
right.
That kind of helps them, I would think, too.
It also helps us as adults understand that, what are our personal triggers? What are the things? Why are we letting this 12-year-old manage my emotions right now?
Yeah.
To be able to, as adults, disengage and say, you know what, when kids talk back in this way or say something in this way, here's how I need to respond to model how we do this. So we aren't sarcastic and, we could cut them to ribbons. We've been doing this a lot longer than anybody else, we are educated and, we could be really mean, but there's no place for that. Yeah. We want kids to come. Right. This community sends us the very best 7th and 8th graders it has, and we get to go be with them every day. And that is the mindset that we want to have is that, it's an honor to work with these kids.
That's great.
And so, it's a cool program. I'm really happy about it. I'm proud of what we have done.
More as the year goes on and even into next year, how that kind of plays out and works itself out. I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have to take a quick break. We're going to talk about TBCC. Registration for winter term classes at Tillamook Bay Community College is right around the corner. You can begin registering through their website on Monday, November 27th, with classes beginning January 8th. It is never too late to go back to school. You can start by visiting their website at tillamookbaycc.edu to learn what programs and services are offered, or stop by and visit a career academic advisor who can assist you in looking at career and educational options. At TBCC, you can get started from any step in your life, whether that means earning a GED, learning a new skill to move up in your career, start working toward a bachelor's degree, or learning English as a second language. TBCC can be your partner to reach your career and educational goals. They also have financial aid advisors that can assist you in learning how to pay for your education and set yourself on a course for success. Now is a great time to get started. TBCC, change your mind, change your life. So we are talking with I almost called you the president. I did that to Jennifer Garcello. She goes, I said President Garcello. She goes, President? Well, it's two P words. I don't know why.
There it
Principal
is. There it is.
Radcliffe.
Yes.
From the junior high. And you talked about, what did you call it? Snap face tube?
Yes. Snap to tube or Instaface, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Because I think we are about the same age, probably ish. Yeah, I say all the time, I'm so glad we did not have social media when we were in school.
Yes.
So glad.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be, yeah. But you were dealing with kids that do have social media in school, and there are so many things that they live in the now. They live in like right now, this very moment, and I'm going to do this, and they don't necessarily think about what is that going to do to me in the future, or whether it's 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now,
right,
an hour, 2 days, or even 5 years from now, because at some point you are going to have an employer look at whatever is the popular, whether it's Facebook or something new, look at your profile and see things that you have posted, and that could potentially cost you a job.
Right.
So you are combating that by having an assembly.
Yes. So working with Tillamook Police Department, Nick Troxel and Chief Wright are working on this with actually the FBI and Department of Justice. We're going to have them come in and talk about social media and problems that it can cause for kids. So this will be at the high school and also at Tillamook Junior High on November 15th. We'll also bring over the 6th graders from East Elementary School. You know, it's kind of more of that middle school model, and they're
right,
getting into these sorts of things as well. There's a big problem with kids right now asking for nude pictures, sending pictures of themselves, and not understanding that, you know, I might be dating this person right now, and if he or she asks for that, you know, but we're in love and it's, you know, it's safe, but then those digital images are forever.
Right.
And that, you know, a screenshot of that can then be sent around the world. And kids are not picking up on the fact that that is very dangerous behavior, especially in this now time of, you know, people knowing where your phone is, where you are,
right,
what your address is.
Yeah, if you have your GPS on, if you have your location on, it, like we were talking before we went on air, Snapchat now has a new feature where if you are friends with somebody on Snapchat and they have their GPS enabled, you can see literally where they are. I mean, down to the house or building.
Right.
Which, okay, if you have your friends, but if you're friending people on Snapchat or Facebook or whatever, you don't really know in real life. You don't know that person is who they say they are, and they could be some type of predator that's like, right, oh, hey, she's at her friend's house, not at her house. I'm going to go over there and try to, you know, do something. I don't know. Right. It's scary. It is very scary.
Right. And that is the thing that as adults with our ability to worry very well, we can see that and we can feel that. And a lot of times these students, this is a whole new thing, and it's the world that they're living in, and they feel very comfortable in that. Right. They're digital natives. You know, technology is something that happens after you were born. Well, these kids have never known the world without internet. Right. They don't, that is not technology. That is just life to them. Yep. And so they do not understand those ramifications because they look at it in a very simplistic view. So one term that I've heard recently is that we have to be their surrogate frontal lobes while they go through these very tenuous places in their development, which again, like you said, we've all gone through. We've all done really stupid things and dumb things. But thankfully no one took pictures of it or, recorded it or whatever.
Or if we took pictures on it, they probably got burned or ripped up and shredded and they don't exist anymore.
Right.
Because they were physical.
Yeah. Or they're under your bed somewhere, never to see the light of day, thankfully. But I think these kids don't have that luxury. And so, we do have to help them manage this minefield that society that we've put them in.
Right.
So while social media can be great and it can, be very positive, it also, there can be a dangerous side to that, and we need our kids to understand that.
Yeah.
So once again, it's us looking at a problem of today and then trying to combat it with education to say, here's some issues, here's some things, here's how we can help you manage this, because we care for them.
Yeah.
We want them to be safe. We want them to be healthy. We want them to be the most successful that they can possibly be. And we want to remove those barriers for all kids.
Yeah. I think one little other aspect of the social media, and I don't know if you guys are going to be talking about it, but the online bullying is huge, because it's really easy to be mean and say mean things to someone behind a keyboard.
Absolutely.
Versus face to face, it's a little bit more difficult because then you have to deal with their reaction. And that's, kids are, it's amazing to me. They're online all the time and on Facebook and Instagram, and gosh, they could have multiple Snapchat profiles, they can, it's not like you're limited to just one. You can have multiples of
everything.
Yeah. Of everything. And
well, and even as adults, oftentimes now, if people don't like something, instead of going to the person or going to the organization and saying it, then it becomes very easy to just, say whatever you want to say on Facebook or on wherever. And, kids see that.
Oh,
kids
for sure.
see how we handle those things. And so, it is a kind of the Wild West, on a lot of those platforms. And it is something that we have to be mindful of, and we have to help them navigate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're out of time, so we didn't get to the step challenge. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. You guys are doing a step challenge at the junior high.
We're doing it all across the district. And so, but I'm a very competitive person. It's just the way that I am. And so the junior high is, setting the tone. So We're excited.
Cool. Tomorrow we will have somebody from the Farm Bureau here. Don't forget senior meals, noon every weekday at the Kiowanda Community Center in Pacific City, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. Cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for everyone else. Tapa's newest comedy opens tomorrow. Money Matters has shows on Friday and Saturday at 7. Tickets for this hilarious show are available at Diamond Art Jewelers, 842-7940. And Saturday, the Tillamook Senior Center is having a flea market from 9 to 3. They have lots and lots of stuff. Thanksgiving and Christmas decor, homemade jams, jewelry, baked goods, just a long list. The Senior Center is at the corner of 4th and Stillwell. Again, that is Saturday from 9 to 3. And if you haven't heard about the Chamber's Downtown Sweepstakes, purchase from any downtown business located between Stillwell and Laurel and 1st and 5th. Bring that receipt to the Chamber during their open business hours and enter their weekly sweepstakes. And also, all of the weekly sweepstakes entries also go into end of the year sweepstakes for $1,000.
Ooh,
I know.
That's good.
Yeah. Hey, Melissa, thanks for coming in this morning. It was good talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Tillamook, for listening.